What's going on, beautiful people? Fire family, welcome back to another episode of Mars Day with Mark. This is your weekly astrology breakdown where we go through the transits, the events, all the celestial news. So, before without further ado, I want to remind you, life is ultimately what you make it. It doesn't fucking matter where Jupiter is or where Pluto happens to be, because every day the sun is going to rise and it's going to set, and you have to get off your monkey ass and do something about your life. Okay? And that comes from love, from the bottom of my heart. So I will show you the stars and do my part. Mars Day with Mark, number 67. Oh my goodness, guys. I hope you have an amazing time. So we kicked this week off on Tuesday, September 17th, with a full moon lunar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, I might add. And if you want an extended breakdown for how that eclipse hits your zodiac sign, hit the video in the description and I will go sign by sign and even give you a better overview of it. We'll talk about this as far as how the week starts off, but there's also a couple major events this week. The big thing is the eclipse. We have the sun moving into Libra, and we've got Venus moving into Scorpio this week. Okay. So if you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Some of you guys know how this goes, but we're going to do Tuesday to Tuesday. So today is the 17th of September, and that's going to mean we'll end the week next Tuesday on the 24th of September. So I'll walk you through the degree placement like this was the weather forecast, and then I'll give you a little breakdown for how these energies may play out, how they may affect you. So, first thing I want to say is shout out to the Virgos, because this is our last week of Virgo season. Shout out my Sophia. Shout out anybody else with their sun in Virgo, but we're celebrating a lot of birthdays. And pay attention to the energies in the transits going on right now, because if you happen to be celebrating your birthday, you'll carry this energy for the rest of the year. And that's really important to note. So as we start today, we have the sun at 25 Virgo. The moon is gooning, it's peaking, it's crowning. That's so weird. I'm sorry, y'all. The moon is at 17 Pisces, edging, jelking her way up to the goddamn full moon. So that's cool. 17 degrees. We've got Mercury at 13 degrees of Virgo. We've got Venus at 23 Libra. We've got Mars gooning out at 7 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter is chilling at 20 Gemini. Saturn is retrograde at 15 Pisces. We've got Uranus retrograde at Sussibaka, 27 degrees of Taurus. You've got Neptune retrograde as well at 28 Pisces, and Pluto retrograde at 29 Capricorn. The North Node is at 7 degrees of Aries. That puts the South Node at 7 Libra. Lilith is also at 8 degrees of Libra, and Chiron is retro at 22 Aries. In 1 week from now, we will see, of course, the sun move into Libra. It'll be in its first degree, or 1 degree, I should say. Technically, 0 is the first degree, so this is the second degree, but it'll be the degree number 1 of Libra. Which is, I'm sorry to mind fuck you. I hope you get what I'm saying. It's like 0 degrees is technically the first degree. So 1 degree is technically, the second degree. Same way that, when you were born, it's the first year of your life, but you're technically 0 years old. Same kind of concept. So at the end of the week, we'll see Libra season kind of get kicked off. The moon will be in its waning phase. It'll be gooning out in Gemini, or at that point, like later in the day, it'll go to Cancer. But we'll have Mercury flying through Virgo this week. It moves up about 13 degrees. We've got Venus moving to 1 Scorpio. So she's getting some change. Mars moves to about 11 degrees of Cancer. And everything else is basically at a standstill, guys. Like, what the fuck? Like, shit ain't moving. Jupiter will go retrograde in about a month. But you can see, man, it's barely moving minutes at this point. Like, I'm going to advance the chart a couple more weeks ahead. You'll see it move to 21. The next week after that, it'll station and then it'll turn retrograde in mid-October. But let's keep it back into September where we are right now, or a week in advance. Saturn will move back about a degree. Uranus moves back a couple minutes, like fucking 7 minutes in a whole week. That's like a minute a day. Oh my goodness, y'all. Uranus is sitting still. Neptune is gooning. Why are these goons gooning, man? Neptune is not doing shit. Pluto's not doing shit. Pluto moves like a whole 4 minutes. So not much outer planetary motion, gang. So I will just say that, we'll go through the major highlights, the events, kind of the reason for the season, the tides, things that we should be aware of, okay? So the first thing to note is it is Virgo season, and we are kicking off that lunation, the lunar eclipse. So Virgo season is about work, it's practicality, it's the mutable earth sign of the zodiac. So for the last 25 days or so, gang, it's really been about getting locked in and focusing on our schedule, our day-to-day life, our habits and our routine, and asking ourselves, does this shit make sense? Is it conducive to my goals? The lifestyle you have is comprised of habits, and those habits that you keep create the life that you live. And I've heard it said that the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. So if you are hearing this message, I behoove you. Is that the right word? I behoove you to get with the program, man. If you got goals, get after them. You can either get up and go chase your dreams, or you can go back to sleep and go dream your dreams, man. And that's really the key for this week. To me, you know, I want to highlight the Sun Neptune opposition. And let me know if you guys have similar angles in your chart. I love reading you guys' comments. I love the feedback. Does anybody here have a Sun Neptune aspect? Like, are you a Pisces? Do you have squares, oppositions, trine from the Sun and Neptune? Me personally, I was born during a Sun Neptune opposition. And I don't mean to make this about me, but I will just say that my ears are ringing like a motherfucker right now. And I can really relate to this energy deeply, and I can speak on it through personal experience. But the Sun and Neptune, this is our sense of self, our personal identification, the ego, the Sun. And then we've got our transcendental way of viewing ourselves, the universe, Neptune, the deep ocean, our spirituality, our imagination. And when we have these two linked together or opposing in conflict, there can be either an essential bridge between the two or a disconnection. Okay. So ultimately, I think the Sun opposing Neptune is going to really help us realize our dreams. It'll give us visions and profound insights of things that we may wish to manifest or bring into existence. But I will say it takes a tremendous amount of effort to be more than a dreamy well-wisher in life. I think it's necessary on some level for us to deceive ourselves, to say certain lies to ourselves, or reframe reality in ways that make it more tolerable, palatable, and easy to use. So to me, gang, the Sun and Neptune together kind of brings this need to transcend ourselves. And it's not a good or a bad thing. That's truly neutral. But how, why, under what circumstances we do this could play positively or negatively for us. For example, this could be like leaving your kid at school because you just don't want to be a parent that day. That form of escape might not necessarily be good if you were meant to pick your kid up at a certain time. But also, putting your ego to the side, humbling yourself, and making appropriate sacrifices in life. This could be a great way to transcend your ego, to be humble, to recognize something's bigger than yourself, to look at your life like an offering to the world. And that's beautiful, that's virtuous, but ultimately that's difficult for some of us because that can even lead to the belief that our life is not our own. And I will just say, gang, that the Sun and Neptune opposing, this is going to be a theme of the full moon. And like I said, I did break down that full moon in the other video. I do encourage you to watch it. And this is highly empowering. but it also does add a lot of sensitivity to the world and to our experience personally. So I would just say, gang, it's absolutely impossible to be the reflection of your highest truth, of your highest ideal. We have to strive to do our best, but ultimately, gang, the imagination has almost no limits, right? So that's the challenge here, is that there's always work to be done. There's always ways further that we could go. There's always better. You get me? So being able to love and accept ourselves for who we are, for the part of the process, for the stage that we happen to find ourselves in, that's really going to be key. It's going to be imperative this week, okay? And doing something generous, charitable, giving is going to be really important. And also, I think for many of us, this week will kind of play out like confronting our spirituality and making adjustments as needed. Maybe we need to pivot. Maybe we need to explore, to study more, to see what else is out there, or step it up within our path, or maybe take a step back from what we're doing. Ultimately, gang, I can't police your connection with the divine because that's yours. That's personal. And it's a universal but very deeply personal thing. So I'm not telling you what to believe, but please believe in something bigger than yourself. And this is why I love astrology ultimately, guys, because it does show us deeper patterns of meaning and cycles. And that does connect you to higher power within the world, too. So, like I said, it doesn't matter where the fuck these planets are, because regardless, the sun is going to go up and down every day. And if it doesn't, we'll have other problems to think about, okay? But for now, life is what you make it. Don't give up on your dreams, man. Neville Goddard, really cool guy, wrote a lot of books, inspired millions of people, myself included. Neville Goddard says, imagination is seeing through the mind of God. And again, it doesn't matter how you define God or the all that is, but just recognize that's what we're talking about, is the great all, the capital all. And everything in the world, for the most part, at least human inventions and designs, are created by imagination. The internet was first a thought in the imagination. The computer you're listening to me on, or the phone, the roads, the country you live in, all of this is a product of imagination. So if we forget that that power gives us the ability to create, it's easy to take a backseat in life, or give up on your dreams, or just never take the time to paint on your canvas. Okay? So let this be a wake up call to revive your creative passions in this life. Okay? That's what I'm getting through this week. And also recognize the power of your aspirations, your intentions, and your desires. And I'm speaking about intrinsic motivation, living a life of integrity, humility, doing what you know to be right. Everybody likes to win. Everybody likes a reward. Everybody likes to succeed. But ultimately, success is not guaranteed. Failure is almost guaranteed. And failure is relative. Same thing with success. In my personal philosophy, I think, guys, if you never give up, you never quit, you really never fail, even if you don't always hit the target 100%. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say, guys, is that if you recognize the power of your intentions, your want to do good, to be good, you could derive tremendous amounts of confidence and self assurance just from the intentions alone, not even having to get the reward. The reward just happens to be bonus. But ultimately, guys, you're going to spend a lot of time with yourself in this life. So self love, self care ultimately means building a life that we don't have to escape from. And it's the things we do every single day that builds the life that we have, guys. So the question is, what habits can you add to your life that would genuinely improve it? Like sleeping more, or getting exercise, or reading books, or being in the right social circle. And also, I think an even better question is, which habits are zero sum? And I'm talking about habits that really just invalidate the work you're doing. That by subtraction, we could really get an addition effect in our life. And this could be like staying up super late, or scrolling on the phone, or smoking, or drinking, or, gooning, or whatever the fuck you happen to be doing. It depends. It's everybody's got a different reason for being. Everybody has different goals and a different purpose. So that's why I want to really circle back to this is that your life is yours, your world is yours, and you get to do with it what you will. So if you seek to harm none and help the most, generally speaking, the gifts that you give will support your luck and blessings, and you will receive the shit that you're putting out in the world, regardless if it's good or bad. So it's just really important that you give what you want to receive, guys, so you can let reciprocity give you a chance to fulfill yourself, right? I just want to sidestep for 1 second, just say I've been blessed over these years to read hundreds of charts for so many people across the whole world. And I find that almost everybody I talk to, I would basically say everybody, they're successful in certain ways, many ways, specific ways, but everybody that I run across is looking for more, whether it's just their self development and self awareness, or they want to reach higher levels of victory within their, interests. People strive for more fulfillment. In order to get that, to receive that, we have to give that. Okay. So that's my message with the sun in Virgo for the end of the week is that, habits are powerful. Lifestyle is key. So can we live a lifestyle by our design? Yes, we can. Ultimately, guys, Virgo is about service. It's about the work that we do for the world, and it's our obligations. And the number one obligation you actually have is your physical health. Your body is the report card of the soul. So you have to take care of it, man. The proof is in the pudding. Health exists on all levels. So let this be a wellness check. You doing okay? First of all, it's okay to not be okay. And if you're struggling with some shit, talk to us, man. Join the Discord server. Be part of our community because we're all healing together. Talk to your close friends and family. Talk to your journal. Talk to the divine. Recognize the universe is a being. It's sentient. Even when you feel the most alone, the universe is there for you and you can talk to it and you can receive a response. Consider your higher self, the bornless one, the soul that guides the direction of your life. Should you ever feel lost or stuck, call on your higher self and wait for the response. Open up your journal and let it flow. I want you guys to know it's easy to run from life or to have one foot in, one foot out and not really be committed to purpose because of all the factors outside of our control. That in itself can make us feel like our life isn't our own or that we don't have control. So I'm preaching intrinsic motivation and the internal locus of control. You don't always get to choose what happens in your life, but you can always choose what you do as a response to it. All right, gang. So, on the nature of resistance, escapism, trying to run away from life, whatever you resist will persist by virtue of your resistance. Anything suppressed will get distorted. So, to me, this Sun Neptune opposition with the eclipse kind of feels like a personal purge, a deep release, a letting go. And you guys know eclipses are just supercharged lunations where the lunation will occur on the nodal axis. Okay. And these happen in pairs. And you can see with the nodes, they do move retrograde, the mean nodes. And you're going to see in 2024, these nodes move from Aries to Pisces. And of course, they'll put the south node in Virgo, make it move from Libra to Virgo. So that's why, our last eclipse, pardon me, y'all. This is why our next eclipse will be in the sign of Libra, the new moon. Okay. So just watch these lunations and, I'll keep you up to date with them. But Pisces reflects our dreams, that connection to all that is. And it's important that you build a relationship with it. I don't care what you define it as. To be honest, I don't think the universe cares either, as long as you can communicate yourself clearly. And, like a good friend who can really intuitively connect to you and can even feel what you're saying beyond your ability to articulate it with words, the universe picks up on vibrations too, guys. The universe knows what you desire in the depths of your heart, but it's just important that you ask. Ask and you shall receive. The universe gives you this free will, these powers of choice and, intellect. to correspond with you. So we got to be using those powers congruently. You know, the universe is like a mail order system, man. What you put out there, you will receive. So just be intentional with this life, gang. And don't be afraid to clean up the mess. That's what I'm saying. You know, in interest of Sun Neptune, I think most of us consider ourselves a good person on some level. And this want to be good, this desire to be benevolent in the world, it can make it very difficult to accept our ineptitudes or the parts of us that are undesirable or flawed or bad, so to speak. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I'm just saying, gang, sometimes the want to not judge yourself can make you cling on to negative traits longer than you need to. And it's embarrassing to say that you're struggling sometimes or that you need help. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's just the pride that we have around, you know, our quality and our character, gang. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna live to like 100. I'm gonna live a really long, happy, beautiful life. I really want to be here as long as I possibly can. But just to give you like, you know, this is sun energy. So my personal life, I had to have some conversations in my journal where and I don't even want to say this shit, guys, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, man. You know, I had to dump out that shit that I was resisting and be like, I hate my life. I hate myself. I hate everything about who I am. I hate my weakness, my recalcitrance, the way I choose to be a victim. I had to just dump it all out and and then after, bro, it's like, you know, when it's like if you were to unplug a drain that was clogged up, like all this fucking gunk comes out. And then after like 2 pages or 3 pages of negativity, then I started getting my mind clear and I'm like, but this is not how it ends. And I am a powerful person. I have great intentions and virtues. And then my higher self started kicking in and started coaching me and was like, you just got to do this, 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 and this, and this. Your problems will go away. And you just got to take the action, man. You know, you created this person, you can change this person. That's the beautiful thing, man. If you're struggling with who you are, just remember you have the ability to change. Okay. And honestly, you know, Virgo and Pisces, these are archetypes, these are symbols, these are constellations in the sky. And these are just reflections of higher meaning in life, okay? And while there's many different significations of these signs, I just want to say Virgo and Pisces really reflects the archetype of guilt and atonement. Guilt and atonement. The first 6 signs are the most personal. And the second set of signs, 7 through 12, like Libra through Pisces, is the more interpersonal. Okay. So let me just run through it really quick so everybody can kind of see what I'm saying. Aries is just life, raw existence. I am. Taurus is stability and maintenance. I have. Gemini is intellect and perception. I think. Cancer is emotion and connection. I feel. Leo is creativity and self-expression. I will. And Virgo is analysis and refinement. I serve. So when we get to Virgo, the last part of the bottom half of the wheel, this is where our attention gets turned inward and we can self-reflect and think. If we were just willing things in and creating like Leo, now we question what's the right thing to create. Everybody's had the experience of guilt where we do something wrong. Guilt is actually a necessary phenomenon because it shows us how to correct ourselves, how to be better, how to change who we are. And we're social creatures, y'all. So everybody will feel this at some point. And I do want to say, gang, there is a difference between guilt and artificial guilt. Artificial guilt has nothing to do with your own actions. Okay. So can we delete that shit? Sometimes it's worth asking where this negative voice comes from and how you learned to think that way. And also think, what does your own voice happen to say as well? Okay. And then Pisces, you know, when we go to the other side of the wheel, I can kind of jump the other 5 signs, but just say Pisces, with this being that spiritual connection to the all that is, this is how we can make our devotion to life or make the sacrifices that are necessary or the adjustments. That's the atonement process, okay? And that's how the two will interrelate. Could look at one like physical service, then spiritual service. So what I have to say, gang, is that your conscience, it'll guide you in powerful ways. Self-deprecation is useful to the point where you initiate change, but it's harmful to the point where you destroy yourself. Okay? Self-preservation is the number one law of nature. You'll notice this in all the plants and the animals. Instinct guides us towards survival. Self-preservation is the number one law of nature. So what that literally means through polarity, friends, self-destruction is the first crime of nature. Seek to not harm yourself. Avoid all self-destructive behaviors like the plague. Okay? Let this be your sign to stop that shit because you love yourself and you love the world. And sometimes there's hardly a difference between the two because we're all one universe. And I want to say, yes, we live in a world of duality, but everything is energy. So what I do unto myself, I do unto y'all, and vice versa. What you do to yourself, you do to me and everybody else. So, treat yourself like somebody you're responsible of caring for, and nurture yourself, and try not to be too critical. It's great to have a discriminating eye and an aptitude for detail, and to run our diagnostics and analytics, because truly we can't improve what we don't measure. But at the end of the day, man, perfect can't be the enemy of good. You hear what I'm saying? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Let me put it this way, guys, especially with the Sun Neptune thing going on, it's not uncommon for our best effort to be less than impressive. And if that's the case, man, we can start to feel like we're inept, or we lack something, or that there's something fucking wrong with us. And that might not necessarily be the truth. It might just be that you're living in two worlds and kind of glitching between the two. Okay? So don't mistake the map for the terrain. Don't miss the forest for the trees. You hear me? You got to see those higher visions as extensions of universal truths that guide your action. And once again, recognize the value of your intention before the work manifests physically. We got to get the work done, gang. But ultimately, if you can't recognize how beautiful you are because you want to do good, you'll miss out on a lot of love in this life. And that would be a damn shame. Okay? So where we go is actually about love. I want to say a couple things, man, on the beginning of this week. The sun is going to goon its way through Virgo, and, that's cool. We got the lunar cycle breaking tonight, Tuesday night. So I hope you guys really do something magical. And if you don't know what to do, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get a vessel of water. If I were you, I'd recommend a glass, like maybe a big ass jar or something. But even if you just bought like a bottle of water from the store, take your water outside under the light of the full moon and set it down between you and the moon. Look at the moon, reach your hands up to the sky, connect with the moon, feel the moon. Recognize that you are the moon, you are the universe. And I want you to breathe the energy of the moon into your body. As you inhale, this light will draw down into your body. And as you exhale, you can move the energy down into the earth and let yourself be the conduit. The word I'm getting is transistor. I'm not much of an electrician, but I hope that's correct. Hope that at least gives you a picture. Like, you are the switch that gets to bring this celestial energy from the heavens down to earth. But focus a little bit of your intent on breathing that energy into the water. And what you're going to do genuinely, guys, is drink the water. Just drink it all up. Stay hydrated, but also, this is magical water. This is charged with the energy of this lunation. And if you are magically inclined, you may want to also make some more of that water to save and keep in the house and use for, anointing your tools, or adding to a bath, or giving as offerings, perhaps. But ultimately, gang, when you drink the moon water, it is going to connect you with the lunar cycle. It will charge you up. It will help you process emotions and feel more peaceful, more loved by the world. The moon is our mother, by the way, gang. And I'm talking about archetypes like solar and lunar energy. The sun is masculine, the moon is feminine. And you'll see this in the way that they rule over the day and the nighttime. So the moon helps us connect with our feminine energy. And feminine energy is about love and support and nurturing. And I think this world could use a lot more of it. So if you have the ability to be outside, you know, and have clean drinking water, man, go make you some moon water and you'll thank yourself later. It's going to be the best thing you can do. And also, this is a great time. I mean, we should be meditating every day. I don't like to say should. I use it very sparingly because it conveys some shame. No shame if you don't take my advice, y'all. But, we only stand to benefit by doing the good habits. So I will say there's no like omnipotent, angry force that'll smack you if you don't meditate. But ultimately, the absence of the benefit is the punishment. So we do well to meditate every day, but especially during the full moon, we could really center ourselves within our own hearts, connect with the moon, and this will reveal to us, illuminate for us anything that has to be released, especially in context of our connection with the universe, Pisces, our Jupiter, our Neptune. Okay? Full moon is conjunct Pisces, y'all. So if anything, this tells me, and watch that video. I cannot emphasize this enough. The video is good. The full moon right now, the lunar eclipse, is going to help us really understand our place within the world on a cosmic level. And this may reflect the unique sacrifices we wish to make, the longing we have, the things we want to put our love into, the certain goals that are going to help us. In Pisces energy, Neptune energy, this is all about imagination. It's very mystifying and spiritual. So this can also give us a glimpse at our illusions or our delusions and help us get out of our own way. This is one of the most psychically charged full moons that we're going to have this year. So, hey, man, if you've been pondering on certain questions or issues within your life, I really think this one is going to bring a lot of resolution for us collectively. And I think that's beautiful. So, in addition to the lunar cycle, let me also tell you guys about Mercury and then we can move into the other planets. Okay. Because, well, before I say that, let me actually move the chart day by day so we can kind of see. Friday is going to be when this uh, not the full moon, but when the Sun Neptune cycle peaks, the opposition peaks on Friday, where the Sun goes to 28 Virgo directly opposite 28 Pisces. So, if anything, the full moon is definitely an emotional time, but I would suggest that Friday is probably going to be very emotional as well. But then after that, we should have this renewed sense of direction and also kind of a mystical glow added to our lives. But at the same point, guys, that's the most positive expression. If we're not seeing the higher picture or we're resisting against ourselves in the process or trying to be motherfucking perfect, we may feel more nervous come the rest of the week. So I just really want to say, gang, it's important to choose a direction, but damn sure go with the flow and recognize that everything is sacred, everything is divine. The problem is trusting shit right now, y'all. I will say that I'm restarting Reiki Live. We were doing this every Sunday for a long time, and I kind of fell off. We got back to it last Sunday, and what I was feeling in the collective's energy was just, this ungroundedness and even blockages in the third eye, blockages in the back of the third eye. I believe it's called the Nariki or the Narika. It's that space kind of where your brainstem hits the skull. Issues right there, y'all. So, hey, as far as, healing goes, Reiki energy, you may want to rub your palms together and place one hand behind your head and one hand on the forehead and let your palms send energy into your skull, into your third eye, into your Ida, your Pingala, your pineal, your pituitary gland. And when we stimulate the pituitary gland, guys, it actually sends healing and relaxation to the rest of the glands below it. So, top down, a lot of us could definitely use like a head massage or, some decompression in the scalp and to relax our scalp, to relax the face muscles, relax the jaw, relax a little bit, man. Chill the fuck out. Why are we so stressed? I mean, life is life, bro, and this shit don't stop for nobody. So I get it. I certainly get it, man. And I think this is a good cycle to be around water, to be in water, to take nice baths, to swim if you can, depending on where you are, you know, enjoy the nice weather if you can. So, yeah, Friday's when we peak with that Sun Neptune thing. Another note's Mercury is moving through Virgo all week, guys. So it's a Mercury Virgo week. And the beautiful thing is, Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. So that'll basically say that Mercury is the powers of focus and perception, respectively, Virgo, Gemini. So Virgo Mercury's locked in. And I will say that life would not be a test if you had all the answers. So there will damn sure be questions, right? Things that you're uncertain of. And it's that liminal space, guys. It's the witching hour as I'm saying this. You might not have all the answers, but that's the beauty of life. The beautiful thing about Virgo Mercury is that, generally speaking, you shouldn't feel helpless. You know, it's okay to feel that way, but if you search your mind, there is something you can do to improve your situation with the way this is working. Even if you feel overwhelmed and helpless, your rationality will kick in and be like, but I could actually get up and brush my teeth, or I could get up and take a shower, or I could go apply for the job, or I could study this. I could get a book about this. I could talk to this person who's already done it, there's so many things that you could do to better yourself. And this basically just adds to the analytical way of seeing life and ourselves. And, with this being the nature of the sun still, as we are starting the week, I will just say, gang, it's great to be realistic, factual, analytical, but at the same time, we don't have to criticize everything or ourselves. Life is always for growth, fuller expression, and expansion. So we just got to get with the program, adopt a growth mentality and growth mindset. And we don't have to really, push ourselves to the point of breaking every time. We can lean out of our edge, maybe as opposed to jumping off the cliff. So I didn't write this down, but I'm just seeing it with my eyes, guys. The one thing I'm seeing as far as like challenges this week, do understand that Mercury will make a little square to Jupiter right around that same time the sun is opposing Neptune. So, to me, and the beautiful thing is Mercury is ruling over Jupiter. So it should kind of soften the square a little bit. But hey, man, your journal's going to be your best friend. And you can write that shit down or you can speak it out loud. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, with this Jupiter Mercury square, it's going to be a great time to communicate your ideas and, refine your ideas through discussion. Okay. Because Mercury Jupiter aspects, especially hard ones, these are the definitions of overthinking, racking your brain about shit. This is on one note, like Endless Curiosity, The Search for Meaning. That's a good book, by the way, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I'm sure some of you guys have read it. It's a really good book, by the way. 10 out of 10 recommend it. It's about this Holocaust survivor. And I don't want to exaggerate, but he almost had a good time. Like, it was a horrible time. And I'm not trying to make light of it or make jokes about it. It's definitely one of the worst times in our recorded history was the Holocaust. But I will just say this doctor, he had some very beautiful observations about the nature of life and suffering and joy. And, it's a very, and I will say that book, when I first read it, it made all my problems look so fucking small. I was like, damn, I'm worried about that shit. Wow. Help me be a little more grateful. I'm like, at least I'm not in the Holocaust, man. So try to be reverent about that. But I just I think the language reminded me of that book. That was a good book. 10 out of 10. Shout out to Viktor Frankl. So maybe it's time to write your book. Maybe it's time to articulate something to share your information with the world. Okay? And keeping a student mentality means never assuming that we're perfect or having it all figured out. And I think with Mercury, Jupiter aspects too, this kind of adds a confidence to speech. And you just have to be careful that it doesn't play out like arrogance because then people don't want to listen to you. And you may have the right information. You may be right. But if you come off too standoffish, people don't want to trust that. So that's something to look into as well, gang. Is that, money talks, bullshit walks. The proof is in the pudding, man. If you function off results, you don't really got to shove that shit down people's throats, man. They say don't throw the pearls before swine. And I don't mean to say that, you should size people up like and prejudge them to the point where you're like, I don't know if they're going to get it. I'll just bite my tongue. It's just, speak your truth, and who needs to hear it will gravitate towards you genuinely. And that's the beauty of it. So let me just say this, gang. As far as principles go, freedom will come through the mind, never from the mind. Everything is mind. It's the first hermetic principle. It's mentalism. Life unfolds according to your words and perceptions. So get your mind right and be very careful about what you affirm to yourself. I want to say, as a person with a very challenged Mercury, it's not that important that you control every fucking thought that goes through your mind. But I will just say to remember that you're in the pilot seat, that you're the driver, and you choose how you want to see things, man. And our perception is modified and conditioned by the environment and social and familial conditions, but ultimately you get to choose the meaning that you put to life. And if you want to go even deeper than that, guys, I would submit that life has no meaning except the meaning you give it. And depending on your emotional reaction to that knowledge, you may find that really disillusioning and disconcerting, or really liberating and freeing. Me personally, it's the latter. Because fuck all this shit, man. It's a drop in the bucket of existence, of eternity. So ultimately, you create your world, you create your reality. And y'all might not think I'm Tom Cruise or Kanye West or the best astrologer in the fucking world, but if that's my reality, that's my reality, y'all. You can't make me not think that, right? So how crazy is that? How empowering is that? I talked about this in my Discord server, but this also reminds me, you guys might have seen this post, but Lady Gaga had shared these screenshots of Facebook back in the day. Some of her college classmates had made a Facebook group saying, Stephanie Germanotta, you will never be famous. And they had people joining that shit. And she was clearly not listening to them. But if she assumed that reality, she never would have tried. You feel me? Sometimes when you're doing something great, haters come with the territory. So try not to take shit personally in this life, gang, because people can only really express what's going on inside of them. And sometimes people don't feel all that great themselves, too. So it's only natural that when they see greatness, they would want to try to tear it down so they don't have to feel so dim in comparison to it. Can't take that shit personally, man. We got to bless these haters. Okay. Because if anything, man, it's also free energy. Everybody gonna say something. I'd be worried if they say nothing. Who said that shit? So also want to say this is an interesting aspect that I'm seeing at the beginning of the week, and it will kind of wane out. Look at Mars as it goes through the chart, starting at 7, and then next Tuesday we end up at 11. And meanwhile, the nodes start at 7 and they end up at 6. So basically what I'm saying, gang, is the Mars is square the nodes too. And as a practicing astrologer, I really want to point this out. Anytime a planet is square the north node, that also means it's square the south node. And that just means that this energy has to be confronted within that specific time space. This is the point where I would hit the wow button on the soundboard or the Vine boom and go boom, boom, boom. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's that shit. Okay. So what is Mars? I'm kind of jumping the gun. We like literally, we'll go back to Venus in a second. But I just bring it up now because of chronology. We have to confront our desires right now, y'all. That's what it's about. Our intentions, the meaning behind our actions, why we do what we do. Okay. And ultimately, gang, you're on the side of love or you're on the side of fear. And you have to pick one. You can't pick both. So the question is, what's my outcome? What's my intention? Get in the habit of asking that. And I think that this square to the nodes with Mars does add a little deeper level of nuance and color to the eclipse season, saying that limitations are going to be purged within our lives. For those that are devoted to their spiritual path and advancing individuals, you know, it will literally be the sacrifice of everything holding you back. You will transform it and use it for fuel. However, those that might be kind of wandering or non-committed, you may see some of your separating desires or your ineptitudes kind of creating more problems, karmic issues for you to learn from. Either way is totally fine. Everything serves a purpose. But I'm just saying, guys, lock in. Not to add stress to your life, quite the contrary, to take it away. What things do you know are holding you back? Is it bad habits? Is it guilt? Is it resentment? Is it fear? Is it conflict? Is it avoidance? I don't know. Your life is yours. But ultimately, gang, the heart wants what the heart wants. And this is an emotional experience. So you have to really listen to that heart. And I know and I'd made an extended breakdown for Mars and Cancer. So if you guys haven't watched that yet, I'm gonna link it right beneath that eclipse video, okay? Because it's very important that you understand how Mars and Cancer affects you. And to do that, you'll have to look at your Mars and your moon, and then the house that it's transiting, okay? And if you guys are like kind of lost, because I know this is a language in itself. This is like when I'm with my girlfriend in her, Spanish speaking family, and I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? So if that's you with the astrology, I will say that until the full moon is over, my astrology course is half off. The tarot course is half off too. And I have a couple more spots for half off readings too. So I could just run you through your whole chart and explain the placements and show you how everything from the sun past Pluto works. Okay. So if you feel called, the link is also there. Everything you need is in that description. But in any magnitude, guys, Mars is going to ask us to really seek comfort within life, to seek peace and equanimity. And this will require us to confront, things that make us uncomfortable or patterns that don't serve. And I think with Mars and Cancer, I'm a natal Mars and Cancer, so I can only speak from my personal subjective experience and ways of viewing this. But I think that a lot of us are kind of getting tired of the past just repeating itself over and over again. So I think Mars and Cancer kind of does seek to interrupt some of this stagnation. Okay. So we love Mars and Cancer. Regardless, it's going to be there for a long time. Because after Mars passes Leo, like Mars will get to Leo and then retrograde back into Cancer and be in Cancer for a long time, my friends. So, hey, man, let me just say this. We have to confront our emotions, and we can't numb and suppress our emotions. We have to really meet life on its terms and seek emotional sobriety as well. There's a book, it's free on Audible, and this changed my life. I find that, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The right information always comes to me because I'm willing to learn. But this book is called 12 Smart Things to Do When the Booze and Drugs Are Gone. Choosing Emotional Sobriety Through Self-Awareness and Right Action. It's a free book on Audible by Alan Berger, PhD. I needed this book, so I'm passing it to y'all. Okay? 10 out of 10. I'm going to study this book. I already finished it, but I'm going to go through it again, guys. Because holy shit, I needed that. So I hope you enjoy it, man. But in other words, Venus has got a lot of action. And this is what I'm going to leave y'all off on, okay? Because love is powerful, but we need not get love and power confused, okay? Because in order to love, we have to trust. And if we don't trust, we don't love. Compassion requires empathy. You got to put yourself out there to feel in order to be loved and to love somebody else. And if you're unwilling to connect with somebody emotionally, you don't really love those parts of them, by the way. I'm just letting you know right ahead of time. Okay? Because love is about to get a little deeper. Where we kick it off, well, hey, yeah, let me say about Libra. Let's talk about Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and then we'll talk about her transition this week, okay? So, we start on Tuesday. The sun is going to move through the last parts of Virgo on Sunday. This is going to be our equinox, okay? It's either going to be fall or spring, depending on which hemisphere you happen to be in. But either way it goes, the sun is in tropical Libra. So we're going to switch seasons, truly. And we're going from Virgo, the sign of Earth, mutable Earth, sign of the Virgin, the maiden, whatever you want to call her, to cardinal air, the sign of the scales, the seventh sign. Libra is all about relationships and balance. And, there's a more beautiful undertone to this season. We'll have 30 days of Libra and we'll talk more about it as we go. And shit, I might even have to do an extended breakdown of this one too. Just talk about the highlights as it goes. But in any magnitude, guys, it's about seeking comfort, balance, peace within life. If anything's not right, we got to confront it. Libra asks us to be honest with ourselves, but at the same time, gang, Libra says a lot about appearances. I'm talking about the aesthetic quality of life, that nature, how things seem. But deeper than this would ask us, how our social connections work and how people relate to us and how they perceive us. So, you know, in traditional astrology, the sun is said to fall in the sign of Libra. And I think it's kind of funny linguistically how the sun in Libra is the start of fall for those in the northern hemisphere. How funny. And the reason this is considered a debilitated placement is that the sun is all about our ego. And we've talked about this extensively, all the way to Neptune today. So you should see the sun is the Leo archetype. It's you, it's how you understand yourself, how you express yourself. And when the sun goes into Libra, the sign of relativity, balance, the scales, there's a strong need to be liked. Gang, we are social creatures. If that wasn't true, solitary confinement wouldn't be the worst punishment right under death that you can give somebody. You feel me? As opposed to various forms of torture, but let's not get into that Scorpio shit yet. But in any magnitude, the problem with Libra energy is that the need to be liked can make us act out of character. Or there may be a duplicitous tendency to be one way in some places and then another way somewhere else, to play both sides. So my challenge to everybody, be the same person you are everywhere. That's my challenge. And that might be a tall order to fill, because I know that if you are like a mom or a dad, the way you treat your babies might be different than the way that you're acting around your boss. You feel me? But ultimately, this is a highlighting of our values, our ideals. Are you living a life of integrity? Or are we putting on a mask? Once again, you got to live with yourself, gang. So in interest of congruency and peace, you know, seek to clean that shit up if there's things out of place, out of balance. And love yourself so fucking much, gang, because that's really where we're headed. Let's talk about Venus now. So Venus is really the other heavy hitter in the sky right now, because like we showed earlier, not much is really going to change this week apart from that big ass eclipse, the sun moving signs, and those aspects with the sun and Mercury. But on Monday, Venus will move into Scorpio. Venus loves Libra, by the way. So for the last, how many weeks? 1, 2, 3 plus weeks, we've had Venus going through Libra. And hopefully it's been a beautiful, peaceful time for you guys. I hope that, your social lives have flourished and that you've recognized the good people in your life or put yourself in a position to be more connected with the world. That's cool. But Venus and Scorpio is going to have us seek depth and intensity. Okay. If I haven't made this clear yet, guys, Venus is how we love. It's how we relate as well. And that's why she does rule Libra. But deeper than this, guys, she rules Taurus as well. And this is actually why this is said to be a challenging place. She's opposite Taurus right now, or she's going to be. Taurus reflects our needs, how we nurture ourselves. This is our feminine energy, how we survive, even how we eat, how we sleep, how we find shelter and comfort ourselves. Venus will even reflect the values that we have, gang. So, in the most beautiful terms, Venus in Scorpio evolves our love. Oh, yeah. We seek better, more powerful, more honest love. Like a snake shedding its skin, we leave the limited forms of expression behind so we can continue to grow deeper. And I think that's amazing. And gang, the love of a Venus Scorpio person is truly special because this is about loving with your soul. And regardless if you have this in your natal chart, we're all going to experience this desire to really merge with the world and others. And depending on how you relate to that desire, this could lead you towards deeper intimacy or a lot of fear when it comes to people. Because love is a powerful thing, gang. And again, we don't need to have love and power confused. But you got to be careful who you love because who you love is who can hurt you, who you let close to you. And ultimately, when you think about people, when you take enough time to analyze yourself and what you're capable of and your feelings and your anger, your desires, your sadness, your joy, your fears, I want to say again, you can realize how people can be and even the mistakes you make too, man. By even understanding yourself, it stands to reason that you would damn near not want to trust anybody, right? So let me break it down this way, guys. In order to really love somebody, in order to really trust somebody, we have to trust ourselves. We have to recognize that love is not about control. Love is about surrender. Love is not about just getting your needs met. Truly, a great relationship will serve a need. Otherwise, there will be no purpose to be in that relationship, right? So we seek harmony. We seek reciprocity with the people within our lives. And I would just say, man, when it comes to Venus, the obligation is responsibility. The illusion is projection. Okay. So Venus and Scorpio, especially kicking off Libra season, or Libra season, this is going to really ask us, especially after this full moon glow, like, are there any unmet needs that we still need to take care of? Are there things that we need to do and show up for ourselves? Because if we don't, this can be the easiest time to get really attached to people for whatever reason. And this may be a temporary, sieve to supplement our needs, but ultimately, you know, you're the bottom line. That relationship you have with yourself, that'll be eternal. That's forever. And relationships are built off reciprocity. So if we can't reciprocate, we can't give, or we're not willing to participate in the ways that others give to us, relationships are going to have to transform and change at a certain point. And this is why, you know, love can be so catastrophic sometimes, where you put all that energy and hope into it. And then at a certain point, one partner might feel like it's just not what it's all cracked up to be. Something's got to change. Or, someone's living in la la land and then, damn, I just got dumped. And what the fuck? And now I can't let go because I'm obsessed with you. I thought you were everything I needed, but really it was you that you were needing at that time. And as Libra transitions out, especially on the first day of Libra, guys, there is a more serious undertone with Venus square to Pluto. And I will just say that's like a super intense Scorpio Venus. If you guys don't know, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So, ready or not, guys, there's going to be changes in love, and the heart is going to open regardless if you want it or not. So, let out any pain. Let yourself feel more love. Allow yourself to grieve if you have to, if that's what's going on. And to me, this also kind of feels like repairing certain relationships too. And like I said, you got your own chart. Everybody will feel this differently. But love is going to go through some transitions this week. And beyond love, remember that Venus is all that Taurus energy too, the needs, the values, what we provide for ourselves too. So I would just say that you know, greed is something we want to confront as well as a virtue. There's nothing wrong with living an abundant life. There's nothing wrong with having abundance. But ultimately, gang, life is not always about what we get. Truly, it's about what we give. So money's just energy. And money is a flow. Money loves motion. It doesn't like to sit and stagnate. I'm not telling you not to have savings. Quite the opposite. Save your money so it can save you. Invest your money for the future so you can grow in the long term. All right. But ultimately, man, with no direction, accumulating money is like avarice, it's laziness. I believe it was Andrew Carnegie who said that, and I'm paraphrasing this, this is not verbatim. He said something to the lines of, it's not virtuous to die with money. And, Andrew Carnegie was one of the giants of the Industrial Revolution. I'm pretty sure he was, the steel manufacturer. Don't quote me on that. You could do your own research. But basically, dude made a lot of money. And he was kind of in that monopoly race with the Rockefellers and, Morgan and Chase and whatever. And they were getting big money, stupid money. Like we have trust laws in the United States because of how much money they fucking got. All right. But after they got older and realized that like they can't take this money to their grave or, you know, lining their pockets a million times over is not really changing their life at all. Hey, it's time to build Carnegie Hall. It's time to build railroads. It's time to build libraries. It's time to give back for the public welfare. It's time to use this money to enrich our lives. Okay. So I would just say that this Venus Pluto square to me, in context of this whole week, guys, everything we've talked about is confronting our fears, sending love to our fears so we can get our power back. And listening to the call of your soul, partnering with your higher self. The rest is really commentary, y'all. That's really the biggest highlights. I will just say, as far as like the other perspective, we've talked about this. I'm damn near getting tired of this, but even if I'm tired, I'm still gonna bring it up. Like it is important. Jupiter and Saturn are squared off. They're like it's like Manny Pacquiao. They're fighting each other, man. And what's his name? Mayweather, like whoever the fuck. Jupiter is fighting with Saturn. And that's going to be expansion and contraction coming at the same time. The cool thing is this week, the square has kind of like eased up. You don't even see the square in this chart, but still, man, if you do the math, they're almost 90 degrees apart. So Jupiter in Gemini has us expanding our minds, deepening our understanding of communication. Saturn in Pisces is having us stabilize our spiritual life, construct more firm beliefs. Okay. And if you want to take them apart from their sign and just forget about that, Jupiter and Saturn squaring off just means there's parts in life right now where we have to really, move forward and grow within, but also parts where we may be overextended and have to cut back. And, Jupiter and Saturn have a 20-year cycle, guys. So we had the conjunction around 5 years ago. And this is really like that first test of the energy at the conjunction that happened 5 years ago. And this is changing our governing structures. And it's kind of funny that, this is an election year in America, at least. So, wow, that sounds a lot like changing governing structures. But ultimately, this is about your social and administrative abilities within life. Are your beliefs supporting you? And beyond that, are there things you got to change within life? Are there ways of relating and interacting with the world that are a little outmoded? Things got to change, man. For things to change for you, you got to be the one to make a change. And I think the key with this one, guys, is that, while there may be places we need to cut back and ways that we need to step it up, we want to seek to make these changes in a way that's non-disruptive to our lifestyle, okay? Or those around us. Last thing I want to tell you guys about is these outer planets and hit them real quick. Uranus and Taurus is finishing up. Let's actually go months ahead to kind of see where this one moves. But Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, and in when February it'll be direct, and then it'll move to Gemini in next July. And we will have one more retrograde dip back into Taurus, to that 27th degree. But ultimately, gang, Uranus is almost finished with Taurus. And when I say almost, like, it's literally going to be there in 2026. And I say almost. But, it's finishing up. We'll have a great taste of Uranus and Gemini, a new cycle coming. The Earth's frequency is rising, guys. And that just says that, you can measure the seismic activity and see that there is some baseline instability on this planet. So your job as a human is just to chill the fuck out, to seek new ways of making money. Recognize your independence, your resourcefulness that comes from your God-given abilities and energy. Energy is currency, y'all. Energy is currency. And the truth is valuable. Information is valuable. And you'll see this more with Uranus and Gemini, truly. So to me, gang, Uranus and Taurus just says, the earth is all we got. Love this earth, take care of this earth, and recognize health is your wealth. And if you're in debt to yourself, you can't buy a motherfucking thing. Okay? Neptune is switching signs next year as well. I'm going to call her a she. She's switching from Pisces to Aries. So she's beginning the zodiac anew. And there's huge cultural changes going on. I know I'm sorry if I'm moving too fast with this wheel, y'all. But yeah, Neptune will finish the retrograde in December. And then come next April, she'll be in Aries. So cultural shifts, y'all. And I feel like there's going to be a demystifying effect with this, where Neptune moves so slow and so subtly and so subliminally, we almost don't notice its effects. Okay? So if anything, I just want to say that what we have to look forward to is a demystifying time. And I think this eclipse that we have starting the week is going to give us a little glimpse of that, helping us pierce the veil and recognize the nature of our illusions or our projections or the way the collective conscious might hide from certain things. Okay? And this feels like a spiritual rebirth. So I just want to say, guys, the best is yet to come. Exciting times we're living through. Also, with Pluto finishing its retrograde in Capricorn, y'all, next month, Pluto will be direct in October. Okay? And this is the last time you will see Pluto in Capricorn for the rest of your life in transit. There's a lot of babies born in Pluto and Capricorn, I will say, but you're not going to, unless you plan on living like to 200 or 300 years old, you're probably not going to see Pluto Capricorn again in your life. It's just far out. So where we're going is Pluto and Aquarius, and evolution of human consciousness has always been a thing, but now more than ever, with the amount of technology and resources, information we compile and share, gang, it's never been a time like this. Freedom comes through our mind. And ultimately, all this technological reformation will change the way we interact as a society. Our labor force is going to change as a result of this. It already has. For instance, guys, and this is just a small percentage example of this energy. And this is something that happened in Pluto Capricorn, but I used to be a cashier at Walmart way back. Like that was like my second job ever when I was like 16, right? Long ass time ago. And I remember when I quit, it wasn't long after that where I like came back and they had self-checkouts. And it's like, wow, the robot basically replaced the job. And nowadays you got drones delivering packages, you got AIs doing coding and writing papers, and you got AI generating humans and replicating their voices and doing all types of freaky shit, guys. So these are the weirdest times we've probably ever experienced, ever. And to me, that makes me excited. because there's no telling what the future is going to hold. And I think most of us, at least I can speak on this, have had that experience of like bringing your technology or your phone or your video games around your grandparents when you were young and they're like, what the hell is this? Imagine how your great grandchildren are going to bring the shit around you. You're going to be like either excited or disgusted about it. But, get excited, guys, because life gets better and better all the time. You know, I heard that Elon Musk was doing something called Neuralink, and this is something you can look into. I don't know how this project has gone, but they've successfully like integrated computer hardware into people's nervous system now. So it looks like that we might be the line between man and machine might get a little blurry the longer we live, y'all. So time will tell. But I doubt I'm not the first one to say this. Like even before Pluto hit Capricorn, when was the Matrix movie made? It might have been. I can't remember. But like ever since that movie came out, I know people were talking about like the singularity. That was in 1998 or 1999. So Pluto was in Sagittarius when the Matrix was made, but I digress. I'm kind of going out there. So to wrap this down into now, gang, the thing that I'm giving gems, man, truly. So if you guys like this video, you should be hitting that like button. It's absolutely free. It just helps the channel out tremendously. It helps this video get to more people that are going to need to see it based on the algorithm. There's more content posted every single day than any person would have the time to consume in their whole entire lifetime if all they did was consume content. So I'm telling you guys, a lot of shit gets buried under noise. Please hit that like button. And if you could even do me one better and leave a comment and just, a fire emoji or let me know how the transits hit you. I love all the comments, man. And my intention is to be more active in this community. So last thing I'm going to tell you guys is that when you read any chart, Pluto and the nodes will show you the evolutionary and karmic purpose of the motherfucking chart. Okay? So right now, gang, especially with Pluto dipping its toes back into Capricorn before it begins its 20-year trek through Aquarius, with the North Node in the sign of Aries, this is all about embracing your individuality and on some level being a pioneer, being a leader, and recognizing that we do influence others through our actions. So it's important to live lives of exemplary will, to do our best and recognize that as an ethical requirement. And until we make it about ethics, we won't give what's required. Okay? But also, it's worth noting that times are uncertain with these same energies. So the future, only you and God know. Only way to predict the future is to create it for yourself. So take some time on the drawing board to clear your mind and creatively visualize the life that you want to live. I can't see a world without peace, y'all. Imagine the world at peace for a second. And breathe that vision into your heart, guys. Imagine a world full of harmony, a world full of abundance, a world full of joy, a world that's safe, a world where people cohabitate and coexist and get along and cooperate peacefully. And I had this download, y'all, earlier, thinking about like the Neuralink energy and how AI or technology will end up merging with the human nervous system. We'll reach a point in our development as people where we can really recognize evil in the nature of someone's unconscious or their desires and their impulses and seek to rectify it before danger strikes. So I'm telling you guys, with the way we're going to evolve intellectually, scientifically, this world will become a safer and more beautiful place to live. And ultimately, I'm excited for the future, guys. We're going to co-create this every single day together. So there's no, your world is yours. You create it. Stay positive. Put a smile on your face. Vibe check 1 2 1 2. Take a deep breath. Shoulders back, back straight. Powerful posture, powerful bodies, powerful minds. We say that shit all the time. Leave it out in some rhymes. I'll see you guys next time. Mr. Maya with the fire, here to take the collective vibration higher. I love your soul, man. This comes from my Libra moon, straight to you. And that's what we doing. Blessed be.